Everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Her. Today we're going to be talking about GameStop, and it's kind of crazy, right? So GameStop is announcing a 4-for-1 stock split. It is actually coming out on July 18th, which is pretty quick, within 11 days here, within a week and a half. They're gonna, unlike Apple and Google and all of them, Amazon, who's been taking months and months and months to do a stock split. GameStop says, hey, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it right now. I mean, what's interesting to me right now is the chart is like, can this cause a squeeze right now? Obviously, the stock is up. Stock is up 14%, 12%, $14. Yesterday, it hit a low right there at 113. I mean, yesterday it was just getting decimated. And it was just having a hard time. However, if we're looking at the 1-year chart here, I mean, it has been testing the 200-day moving average. It tested this on June, what was this date here? June 24th, tested the 200-day. Then it tested it back on June 8th. So we tested the 200-day moving average twice in the last month, and it got rejected both times. Now, however, the bar is getting lower here. It's at 144 is the 200-day moving average. But is this going to cause a squeeze? I mean, right now, volume is actually looking pretty good, unlike back in here where volume, we had some rallies on GameStop where volume was very, very, very low compared to, past rallies. Like here, you had some pretty nice volume, almost 20,000 up in here to 15,000. So, or 15 million, excuse me. So, what I'm looking at here on this chart is obviously we got to break this downtrend right down here because this is just terrible. But I think if it can get above the 200-day moving average, I think more shorts are going to pile in. If they can push it higher, it has potential to actually, I guess you could call it squeeze. Now, this doesn't really create any value. So, a stock split won't create any value. This is just a news-based event. So, just because you have one share, you're going to have 4 shares after, right? You're going to have 4 shares. However, those 4 shares are going to equal to 1 share. Now, the thing is, like, if you buy now and the stock rallies, so if you buy now and it goes from 130 to 200, you're still going to be up money, but the money that you're going to be up is going to be the same, except for owning 1 share, you're going to have 4 shares. And I hope that makes sense. So this is going to go from let's just say right now it went from 100. Let's say the stock price of GameStop is 100. It's going to go down to $25 a share, right? So you're not going to lose any money. You could just say, hey, what should I do? Should I buy? Should I wait? And obviously this is not investment advice, but if you're concerned that after the stock split is going to go down, then you can just wait till after the stock split and buy 4 shares. It's gonna be the same exact thing. So if you buy 1 share now versus 4 shares later, it's gonna be the same exact thing, unless the price somehow skyrockets to the moon. Right now, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if there's gonna be a massive rally here. And honestly, right now, not to put a damper on this, we got to break this zone. It's been basically chopping back and forth. So we've been chopping from basically, let's call it 120 to 140 for over a month. Now this is some good consolidation. Don't get me wrong. The question is what's gonna make it pop out? Are more people gonna buy, or is this a 1-day event where this is just going to fall apart? Now this is, what the interesting thing to me is that this is actually going to be doing a stock split versus a reverse stock split. But if we're looking at the overall chart here, we went from penny stock up to 483 on that massive squeeze. Right now we're just pinging between the 120 140. But what I will say is, this thing was on the verge of having this major breakdown right before they announced the stock split. So yesterday it started it bottomed out at 113, but this was kind of the last draw. It just stopped. If it broke this area, if we're looking here, let me pull up this let me pull this up real quick here. Basically it bounced where this candle was, and it's not working right now. My highlighting tool is not working right now. But basically on 613 it bottomed out and rallied up to 140, 144. Same thing again yesterday, 113. If it broke here, it's just a very odd coincidence, this is when they choose to release the news, because most likely if this broke, I mean, it was going to give back all these gains, probably going to go back to like 190 area. But they released the news, and this thing is just deciding to skyrocket right now. You know, it's still up 12%. But what I want to see is, can this hold a multi-day or several day rally? As you can see here, I mean, like, this was a massive rally back in March where the whole market did participate in the rally back in March, and that's what really helped it out. Same thing right now is you have full market participation right now. You got the S&P is up over 1% right now. Full market participation. Apple is up over 2%. You have Microsoft up a little bit over 0.5%. Meta is up over 1%. Tesla's up. You got AMC up. So the overall, like the kind of the timing of this, the overall market is generally trying to recover right now. AMC again up almost 14% here. So the question that I have, you know, is if you're gonna, I don't know if it's gonna create value for you if you buy ahead of time. What I want to see from a chart perspective is it get above the 200-day and hold. This back in March, it held for a few days, like a week maybe. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it never. We haven't been able to get above the 200-day moving average back in March. So it was a very weak bounce. Now, I mean, this, to be fair, I mean, it went from like 150 to 190, but then it got crushed. I mean, this fell down, you know, over 50%. I mean, it was just crazy how they just killed this rally. Now, I want to see the same thing happen, but for it to kind of hold. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what GameStop is going to do, but the one thing that I will say is after earnings, I mean, it has been holding after earnings. So it pumped before earnings here back in June, and it's actually held. I mean, it hasn't done anything since earnings, but it hasn't given it all back either. Like I said, we were on the verge of breaking down, but it just didn't happen. IV's kind of trickling up a lot. So yesterday you probably could have got some cheap options, really cheap calls on this. I mean, these things right now probably are up big. Yeah, these are up like 800% on any call that you did for like this week expiration. Next week expiration, these are up another like 200, 300%. So, you know, I mean, the one thing I will say is it did hold the 50-day here. The 50-day is this gold line here. It did hold the 50-day. It closed under, but that immediate reversal with that news just is going to crush a lot of people, probably going to make some people cover, but we'll see how far this rally can go. You know, and you know, when you're investing in something, especially speculative like a meme stock, people call it a growth stock, but I still call it a meme stock because I don't really actually know like if this is going to create any value in the business itself. You know, I went to GameStop yesterday with my daughter, and there was like a Minecraft plush toy there, right? And I'm like, hey, there was no price on it. I asked the clerk at GameStop, like, hey, how much is this? He went to scan. He's like, oh, it's fun. The funny thing is, it's not pulling up on my system. We try to pull up on GameStop.com. He's like, you know what? It's anywhere between 1 cent and $20. So I'm like, okay. So what are you gonna? He's like, you know what? After like 15 minutes trying to struggle to try to figure out the price, he's like, you know what? You could just have it. You just have it. So that was my first GameStop experience in a store, probably like 15 years. I did tweet about it yesterday. Is the first GameStop experience I had. You know, the clerk just basically gave me something free, which was actually really cool. However, it doesn't help the business out, and I don't know if that says anything from a business perspective on what they plan to do, especially like they were trying to pivot into like the NFT world, and that NFT world got crushed. But you know, I don't want this video to get too long, but that's kind of the situation right now. If you watch this video to the end, leave a comment below, like the video. As always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.